Hi, it's Rob the Frugalist here. I've just fixed my Herman Miller Aeron chair armrest. The bolt snapped off. And I was successful, so I can tell you how I did it now, what bits you need in order to fix it. Shortly I'll show you the video of me actually fixing it. I had one go at it and it's worked. Firstly, you need to be able to take the back off the chair. You will need an Allen key. This Allen key I've got from, I have no idea, I collect these from IKEA. And other related items of DIY. So if you've got a bunch of these, this will be the one for you. Look at that, it's probably about 1/4 inch. You will need also a replacement bolt. I will show you what size and shape to purchase, but this is going to replace the existing bolt. You will need to remove the existing bolt. This is best. So a wrench like this, which is adjustable, you can grab hold of it and twist it counterclockwise to get the bolt out. You want to screw the new bolt in. This is a bolt driver attachment on the screwdriver. This will work with metric or imperial pretty much, and work very well for me. What else? That's all you need. So we're going to see how I managed to do it and how therefore you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So enjoy the video. Oh, and this, to add just one more last thing, this is the bit that's broken. Okay, and the head has come off. And the head, as you can probably tell, is this tiny little thing here. I can't really focus on it, but it's obviously the first thing to give. It's lasted 15 years though, so it's not too bad. Hi, it's Rob the Frugalist here, and today we are looking at fixing a Herman Miller Aeron chair. This particular one has got a broken arm. In short, I broke it. I was leaning on the arm trying to find my keys, which were in a completely different room, and it gave way, unfortunately. Now this is an older chair, it's about 15 years old, got it second hand. It's done immensely well. It's superb quality chair, but these things cost like 800 quid new, and I don't want to spend that much on a fix, so we're going to try and fix this today. And if you look closely, you can begin to see what might be wrong. That's a bolt. That bolt has snapped. In fact, this is the end. And the original manufacturing, you can just about see that. That's this original manufacturing bit is just not very well made. Although, having said that, it lasted 15 years, so maybe it is. But this is what gives way first. So what I've done is I've followed a few guides I found. They're mainly American. This is for those in the UK who might not have such easy access to these sorts of things, because you won't find this in Screwfix, you won't find this in Toolstation, but you need to find a bolt. And the reason it is more difficult to find is, well, there's been some imperial entanglements and we want to avoid those, and this is the problem, right? These are not metric, these are imperial, so you need to find a 1/4 inch 2.5 inches by 1/4 inch bolt, which is partially threaded with a certain kind of thread. I think it's UNF, a UNF thread, 28 threads on that. So if you can search for that, I got mine from Bolt World. Others, you'll be able to find them from other places as well. But this wasn't cheap. I mean, this was cheap, about £1.50, but to post it was about £5. Having said that, if you know, I don't have a place local to me to be able to get this. This is much cheaper than actually getting it professionally replaced. So we're going to look at fixing that. Now, the first stage of doing that is actually quite simple. You need to find yourself a Allen key here, and there's 2 bolts at the back of here which you can loosen and get it out. And I'm going to go and do that. And once you do that, I've already done this before just to get these out. You'll see these 2 things will fall out of the inside, and they go roughly like this. So the bolt that you're looking at will go through like this into the arm. Before we do any of that though, we need to get the bolt out of the existing arm, which you'll need some pliers or some kind of tool for, which can grip really well. So adjustable wrench or something like that. So this is what I've got for this purpose. And if you look here, you can see you want to be holding this fairly steady and turning this lefty-loosey, so anti-clockwise. There'll be a washer inside this as well. You need to make sure that stays the same. It's a bit stiff at first, but it seems to be loosening up. There we go. Okay. Inside here there's a washer bearing assembly. Oh. Not bearings, look like bearings. That needs to stay as is. So these go on the towards the outside, and there is the nut on the inside that it'll screw into, which stays inside the actual arm. Here, and you can just about see, if you look right down there, there's a little hexagon shape, so you can see the bolt fits into that. Right. And if you compare the bolt, which I've mentioned, with this, we've got, oops, there you go, similar size, looks like it could work. The UNF is important because it shows the depth of the threads, the spacing of the threads. So F, I think, means fine, and I think there's a UNC, don't use that one. At least I'm not. You might be able to get away with the metrics, M6 or M8, but I would avoid that. M6 would be the closest, but because it's metric, it's going to be out slightly, which would suggest it might not last as long, or you might have thread problems. Okay. So there is a chance you'll need to take both of these off to do the replacement. I'm going to try just using one side, which I'm changing now. Okay, so just to avoid having to lift it up, I'm going to just tilt it forwards and do the job that way. Now, these will need to go on the insides. And you can see you'll be wanting to screw it in a little bit like that. So this goes like here, and then you've got the inside, and then this goes on the outside like that, which allows for sliding up and down depending on how tight it is. Now you want to tighten this bolt here, and I've got like a screwdriver hexagon bolt tightener, which will do the job quite nicely. It's not the most snug fit because this is actually metric. In this case it will be fine. You don't generally do that as a rule. I've got a more imperial one over there, but not quite as snugly fitting as this, because this needs to have a narrow profile so you can get into it. You can see this, you can see it slides up and down. This will need to be tightened up before we tighten the back up so it's the right kind of tension. Nut in. That's it. It's on the inside. Yeah, it's better to take this back off, but I'm quite lazy, so I'm going to use my head. Well, it's not gone nicely. Okay, you can see the problem. This has got two different size holes. The smaller one needs to be at the top, that wasn't going in. Right, we're screwing in now. Tighty righty. Okay, I've tightened it pretty tightly now. I'm curious to see how the mechanism works so it goes up and down, but you can see straight away that the handle's on nicely, which is good. So I'm going to withdraw this. And I'm guessing... Ha! Yes! Whoop. There might be a little bit of tensioning required. Yeah, And that works really well. Okay, so need to screw these back in. Done. Fixed. So just to summarize, this is the problem. This is the bolt you'll need to replace. If you follow the guide, make sure when you take it apart you keep everything in the right order. But yeah, it's actually quite simple. So that cost me £8 to fix, plus I bought 2 bolts because the bolts are only about £1.50 each. So if the left one goes, I can just as easily change that. So I bought myself a little bit of insurance there. Much better than spending hundreds or even tens of pounds on a fix. I saw a whole load of adverts for this exact kit for about £20–30 from the USA, and that's fine, but we just did it for £8 here, so that's a lot cheaper. If you know a place that does imperial bolts closer, then it's only going to cost you £1.50, £2 to fix. But obviously you've got to go out there and get there. So this was a couple of days wait from Bolt World, and it's done the job. And the bolts that you get are a lot more resilient. Look at the head on that versus the head on this one. So it's a lot better there. So hope that was useful to you. If it was, put in the comments below. Hopefully I've helped some of us. And yeah, more fixing things to come, no doubt, as more things break in my household.